Welcome back to another episode of Angels and Ascended Masters. This is ZofiaRennea Morales. I'm here with Psychic Amanda Marquez, and we are mentors of the Ascension School of Spirituality, and welcome to the YouTube channel. Today we are going to actually contact and get to know some of our spiritual counsel. I say some because they tend to like to give us a little bit of space, right? It can be overwhelming to meet a lot of people at the same time. And so generally they'll introduce themselves in ones and twos. And just to be a little patient with that process. I know I wasn't when I initially was getting to know my guides, and I'm like, there's only like 5 of you. And they're like, oh no, there's a lot more than 5. I'm like, oh, come on, I can take it. They're like, you're going to be overwhelmed. I'm like, oh no, go ahead, show me. And it was like this sea of angels and guides and masters. And it's like,
wow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 5 or 6 is good to start. I know in the last segment, Carol asked a really wonderful question, which is, when I'm getting to know my guides and my masters, should I be concerned about deceptive entities and this sort of thing? And I will say yes and no in answer to that question, because there are things out there that will want to mess with you and try to pretend that they are things that they are not. Okay. And some of it depends on where you are in your spiritual growth path and whether they think they can get away with that or not. One thing that I've found as I've been introducing people to their guides, to their counsels, there are a number of ways that I've learned to do that. The one that I like the best is this. Each of us has a healing space that is specific to us for this incarnation. And when you go into this specific healing space, the only entities that can encounter you while you're in this space are your chosen guides, angels, and masters. Okay. So when you go into this space, that's all you will be introduced to. If you run into them other places, if they introduce themselves to you outside, yes, you may want to have a fair amount of discernment and be a little inquiring about who they are and what their intentions are. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, it does. It sounds good.
Okay. What's your experience with that question, Amanda? Because I know your experience is a little different from mine.
So for me personally, I like to, well, I have a knowing that, my family, everything that comes to me has to filter through my family. So what's very important is when you are connecting is to make sure that you call in your family members. You can call in the angels. I work personally with Archangel Michael specifically for that reason. Each time I do a reading, I call him in prior to doing that reading. He's very much for protection, but it's also important that you guys realize
the psychic bouncer, if you will. Yeah.
And it's also important for you guys to realize that you have your own spiritual team. So if you do call them in, you can light a candle and get into that space. If you call them in, they will protect you from anything negative that's out there. And many times if something negative does show up, it's literally like a test of your courage, your faith, and your persistence. And sometimes you just have to kind of engage in battle with it and show it how strong you are personally, because nothing is stronger than you. And so it's just about letting any entity know that from the jump.
Yeah.
Perfect.
One of the things that I also introduce people to when they're working with me is your divine spark inside of yourself, because many psychic attacks, many entities that are trying to mess with you will try to give you a really intense experience of the illusion of being separated from everything else. And that's actually impossible. And so if you know where to find that inside divine spark, that's your power source. There is no way they can separate you from that. And so tapping into that and growing that up and out and pushing everything out and away will bring you out of those kinds of experiences of separation.
Oh, that's great. Great to know.
Yeah, so that's a beautiful tool to have on hand. Because, yeah, sometimes you will get tested. There are things out there that like to play with us. They can't actually hurt the essence of you. Everything is an illusion that they try to do. So, with that said, what I'd like to do is walk us through a meditation where you meet your healing space. Some of you may have met it already. Some of you may not. We will meet your healing space. You'll access using your code, your healing space, and we'll go in and we'll meet whoever on your God squad, your spiritual council, wants to say hello this morning. And generally, if this is your first experience with connecting, this is going to be your main guide, your main spiritual advisor. Like the head of the council typically is who you will meet first, and then it expands out from there on subsequent visits. Does that sound good?
It does.
Any questions before we go? Okay, fabulous. So I'd like to invite you to relax into your chair. If you're driving and listening to this video, you need to be in a safe space. Just put us on pause. We'll be here waiting for you. So feel into your body. Feel how it's supported in the chair or on the bed, wherever you happen to be situated. Feel that wonderful support and comfort. And take a nice deep breath in. And send that breath into your heart space. It might feel a little dusty and dank and closed in there. Go ahead and air it out. Throw wide the windows. And as you exhale, you can send any dust or dankness out with it. And I like to make sure that my inside love is turned on good and strong before I go into contacting the other side. So call into your mind the person, the animal, the thing that you love most purely and simply in this life. Frequently, it's your baby when it's first placed in your arm, or a beloved pet that in your eyes can do no wrong. Bring that love forward, and in your heart center, you'll feel that love well up. That's where your love comes in. That's part of your divine connection. Your divine spark frequently lives in this same space. So bring that love in nice and deep. Take a nice deep breath in and see how that love expands out into your body. Beautiful. And take your attention now and send it down into your tailbone, into that root chakra down there. This is the other place that your divine spark will sit and will live. And take a little look around there and see if you can identify that divine spark. It's there. In fact, you can identify it. Your mind may be telling you, oh, I'm not ready. It's not really here. I'm not built that way. There's a lot of programming that will try and tell you it's not there. Say, thank you, program, bye-bye. And then look again. Yeah, there it is. Hi, little divine spark. Get to know it a little bit. Give it some space. See how much space it wants to take up. Give it as much room as it wants. You might want to just be a little ball around your tailbone, and it might decide it wants to just envelop your entire body. Whatever it does is perfect for right now. Now turn your attention back to your tailbone, and we're going to drop a grounding cord down into the center of the earth. There is a spot designed specifically for you where that cord will plug in. If it has a self-homing beacon on it, it'll just go right down there and find it. And when it connects, you'll feel that rush of wonderful Mother Earth energy come up and fill your body. And we'll send her appreciation for being a wonderful space to have this experience in. Then turn your attention to the top of your head. It might feel a little closed in or shut down. That's okay. We're going to send it love. We're going to thank that little cap that's sitting up there for its service. And then we're going to unscrew it. You might want to physically unscrew it. You might just visualize in your mind it unscrewing or dissolving. And then we are going to send an invitation up to our highest self to come down and join us in that wonderful, loving space in our heart. And let's thank that aspect of ourselves for joining us. Send it love and appreciation. And receive the love and appreciation it has for you. Because you are providing a service to your higher self as well. And it does, it appreciates that service. It loves you for what you're doing. And now that we're well connected, call into your mind's eye a beautiful door. It's your door, and it will show up uniquely and beautifully designed for you. Take a minute to appreciate what that door looks like. Its shape, the color, the markings, the complexity or the simplicity. Whatever it is beautiful and exactly right for you. And take a look down into your dominant hand. If you're a righty, it'll be in the right hand. If you're a lefty, it'll be in your left. And there's a symbol there. It's your symbol. Don't share it with anyone else. And it will open your door. So take your symbol and apply it to your door and step inside your healing space. This space is always available to you. If you're feeling a little rocked and uncertain in the world, you can step in there to rest, to recuperate, to rejuvenate, to level set with your team. Nothing can touch you inside of this space. Take a moment to look around and see what's in your space. Just like the door, it's uniquely suited for you. It may be empty right now. There may be someone there waiting to talk to you. If it's empty, I'd like you to open your heart and send an invitation to your counsel to bring forward the guide optimal for you to meet at this time. And when they show up, just observe who they are. What is their energy like? Is there a vibration that goes with them? Is there a color that goes with them? What is their name? What is your name? Some of them may share a name immediately. Some may share that you probably can't pronounce their actual name, and they will give you something else to call them that you can pronounce. And ask them what you'd like to know about them. Is there a special field of guidance that they bring forward for you? Is there a symbol or a messenger they like to send to you to tell you they're paying attention, helping? Is there something important for you to know right now about your next steps in this world? You have a question about your overall plan and what you're here to do. Go ahead and ask all of these things and anything else that wells up in your heart. And when you feel complete, thank them for their guidance, for everything that they've done for you, for meeting with you here today. And when you're ready, you can step out of your room and open your eyes and rejoin us. All right. And how was that for everybody?
Nice.
Lovely. Carol's
I didn't-
smiling. Would you like to share what happened in your experience, Carol?
I didn't really feel like I had a very successful experience. I did manage to imagine a room, but I had to call guides in, and then I felt like it was sort of just changing from different faces to different faces, and they seemed to have like Avenger masks on, so I couldn't really see or connect or get any information or anything. It was, yeah, I have to try it again.
Kind of like everybody's kind of passing through. One thing I will share with you is you have control in this situation. Okay. So if you get a lot of faces passing through, for example, or they're wearing masks and it's hard for you to make out who they are, you can stop them and say, wait, you right here, I want to focus on you. Please remove your mask. Okay.
Okay.
Because you're the head of this, actually. I talk about the head of the council, but the truth of the matter is you're the boss.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah, a lot of times when we're new to this, we feel like, how could I possibly be the boss? But the truth of the matter is you are the boss. And so they will do what you ask them to do.
Okay. Okay, thank
Love
you.
that.
Look forward to trying it again.
Awesome. How is that for you, Ilaria?
So I'm not visual, so sometimes visualizations are, my mind starts getting active.
Ah, yes, it's like I want to see. Yes.
They aren't I seeing? But I kind of got a little bit beyond that and a little deeper, and I actually saw two doors. One was the kind of where it has the wrought iron rod and you slide it.
Mhm.
And so that one, I tried to use I didn't see a code in my hand, but it felt like it didn't need a code. So I slid that one. And then there was like an adobe structure with a kind of a U-shaped door.
Mhm.
and there was just light in my hand, and I put my hand up and just
Aha, you had a disguise door.
disguised door. Is that what that is?
A hidden door. You got to
Yeah,
go through one
it
door to get to the
felt
real
like,
door.
that's what it felt like. And then in there were 3 of my dogs. Um, and some kind of a purple light that I couldn't really identify, but like I don't see the purple. It's I know it's purple.
It's an experience. It's a knowing. Okay, yeah. I get you. I have knowings all the time. I talk about seeing because it's a convenient verbal handle on things, but I have knowings more than I have visions. Even when I say, well, I see this, it's a knowing of seeing this as opposed to seeing it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. And I could tell like there's a room and I can't really tell what's in the room, and there's I think courtyard around, but I can't really tell what that. But then straight ahead was like a glass doors that we walked out into, and then the dogs just wanted to run, and we just walked out in the forest. It wasn't like high mountain forest. It was more like southwestern US type look.
Yeah. Okay. The forest that I live near.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
I'm in Tucson, so I know
oh, very
exactly what
cool.
you're talking about.
Okay, very
Yeah.
that was it.
Yeah, my room also has an expanse of nature, but it's more like tropical forest. Yeah. And I find my room kind of the focus of the room shifts depending on what I need in that moment.
Oh, okay.
And so sometimes I'll go in and it's like, oh yeah, the forest is over there, but what I need is time in the library. What I need is, time in a hot tub or something like that. And so yeah, the focus shifts depending on my
Good
needs
to
in that
know.
moment.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
So that's where I go when it's time to meet a guide and to start getting used to this, because it's a very safe place to go and play. And as you get to know your team, it becomes easier then to connect with them outside of that space.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you have an exercise you want to put us through, Amanda?
I don't necessarily have an exercise, but I did want to talk to you guys a little bit about exercises that you can do on your own as well.
Yeah. Well, and I loved the one that we talked about in the previous segment of conversing with your guides. So if you didn't get a name yet, I wouldn't worry about that too much. I would call into your mind when you're getting ready to speak with this guide. For example, Ilaria's purple light. I would call into your mind purple light, and then I would talk to it out loud, as Amanda was suggesting. What is it that I need to know about this decision? I've got this choice of this or this. What do I need to know about these options? And you'll start to get information as you have this conversation. And the more you do it in the mundane world, the more that relationship builds, and the more you begin to cue into the signs and the symbols and the things that your guides are sending you through whatever your strongest channels are.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right, go ahead, Amanda. I'm gonna sit back and be quiet for a minute.
The first thing I wanted you guys to know about is that you can take it upon yourself to create symbols for your family members that have passed away, for your guides and all of that. So what I highly recommend doing is getting yourself a spiritual notebook where you can create these symbols. So on each page, put the name of somebody who's passed away, or an angel, or somebody that you'd like to connect with. And what I want you to do is go through, so let's say it's somebody that passed away. So for instance, my father passed away, and one of the symbols for him is a sunflower, because he used to grow these amazing sunflowers. So if you take yourself down memory lane and you think of the things that really remind you of that person, I want you to write them down, because your family members will be with you in that moment, and they will know exactly what you wrote down. So the more symbols you create for each person, the more they can use them to connect with you and contact you and show you that they're around. So my dad has the sunflower, the number 5, the color yellow, his initials. So every time I'm driving, I'll look around me at the license plates. I'm really good at reading license plates. They have a lot of messages from spirit.
Yes, they
So,
do. I will second that.
yeah. So I'll literally look around me, and my father's initials will be on like every single license plate. The number 5 will be on it as well. There will be like a sticker for a sunflower on the back of somebody's car, but it'll all be at once. So that way, when you create those symbols, they can, like bring them in like really strong for you in a compact situation where you can't deny, what you're seeing. And also in those moments when they're showing you those symbols, it's a great time to use that exercise I had mentioned before, where you're creating that dialogue telepathically with your guides. So start a conversation with them in that moment. Pay attention to the feelings that you're experiencing in your body. Many times it's not going to be just a conversation. It can be a combination of different things. You're seeing the symbols, you're feeling the presence of your loved one. You can feel your heart expansion. Many times I can feel like my father's face actually like morphing on my face, and I can feel myself doing his expressions. So it's really hard to describe that in a way like with English language, but it's a feeling. So you will experience things in many different ways. Sometimes it may feel as though something's crawling on your skin, or somebody's playing with your hair. There's many ways for you to feel those things, but with this exercise particularly, it's really important to create those lists of symbols so that your guides can show them to you in your everyday life. And they will do that all throughout the day, every day. So that's kind of one of them. And the other really important thing I wanted to bring up here is, I don't think we mentioned this yet, but we've done it. And that's meditation. Meditation, daily meditation. If you can't do it every single day, I recommend at least 3 to 5 times a week. Sometimes I do it multiple times a day. But meditation is, if you have a friend in real life, on this plane of existence, you're going to call them to keep that friendship alive. Okay. So with meditation, it's literally a phone call to spirit, your ancestors, the angels. It's a form of respect. It's a way to show up for them and have that phone call, that back and forth conversation with them. And so through meditation, your experiences will be different each time. Sometimes it may be visual, sometimes it may be auditory, feelings, all kinds of different things. And I definitely invite you to try a vast variety of meditations, because by experiencing different meditations, different people, so chakra meditations, past life meditations, angel meditations, all of those different things will bring forward different information and different experiences for you. So really engage with that to develop your psychic abilities, your ability to communicate. Even during meditation, if you're having physical ailments and things like that, you're inviting in your angels and guides to be able to work on your body as well, so they can actually help to assist with healing, whether that be emotional healing or physical healing. So taking that time each day is a great way to propel yourself forward on your spiritual journey.
Absolutely. My favorite time to meditate is actually first thing when I wake up in the morning. And so if you're sitting here going, I don't have time. Okay. However long your snooze alarm is, if it's 7 minutes or whatever it is, set your clock that much earlier, 7 minutes. Your alarm goes off, hit the snooze, do your connection with your guides. When it goes off again, you're right on schedule, and there you go. Easy peasy. I like easy peasy, and it happens automatically.
And that being said, I prefer doing them at night as well. When I go to sleep, my meditations literally put me to sleep at night. And you can find meditations for free on YouTube as well. So, just go on there and listen to somebody. do it as a nighttime routine as well. And it will actually carry on into your dream state and put you into like a lucid dream state, where you will be able to contact your guides all night long. You'll be aware of what's going on in your dreams, and you'll have that constant communication through the night. And if you don't want to hear somebody speaking to you, you can also use solfeggio frequencies, which you can find on YouTube as well. And, you know, just mix it up to what you're feeling in that moment. Sometimes you can just meditate by having that internal conversation before you go to bed, and just, you know, letting out whatever it is that you feel. Many times people carry all this stuff with them, and it's important to vocalize it and let it out. And you may not have somebody to do that with, but you can do that with your angels. They're not judging you. There's no specific way to pray or to communicate with them. You literally can talk to them as if they're your best friends. They know you inside and out. They've been with you your whole life. They know your deepest, darkest secrets, and they're non-judgmental, but they can help.
And they don't care if you swear.
Yeah, and they do not care if you swear. So they know you, they know your personality, and you can definitely just talk to them like they're your best friend or family member, and just keep that conversation going with them. And that's what's going to really help to increase your abilities.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and bonus points if you do both, right? Because when you wake up and you do it in the morning, it sets you on the path of talking to them throughout the day, which is a wonderful habit to get into. And you feel a lot less lonesome even when you're by yourself, because you know they're right there to provide guidance and answers and insight at any moment. Love that. Any questions? We've dumped a lot out here.
It was wonderful. Thank you so much.
If you were to share the most important insight that you got out of this today, what would that be? Okay.
For me, it's the fact that I don't have to, doesn't have to be visual. There are other ways they speak to us that isn't necessarily visual, and that I can stop shooting myself. Well, I should be seeing, or I should be this, or should be that, and just relax. And whatever's coming is coming, and to be grateful for that.
And it's perfect. Absolutely. What's your big takeaway, Carol?
I think it's to trust the guidance and your natural senses. So I guess it's very similar to what you were saying, Ilaria. It's to trust what you are experiencing, and to start practicing, and to start looking out for the signs, and to have the conversations, and to start being more active in the conversation.
Yeah. Exactly. I know a lot of us sit and wait for like this big sign or this big knowing, or here's my grand mission. And while sometimes you will get that, there will be points in your life where you will get those sorts of things. The most common and the most useful thing is, what's your next step, right? This little tiny decision, instead of making it with my brain, I'm going to submit that over to spirit, and we'll make it that way instead. And that's a wonderful way to begin to build that trust, is with the little things.
And so often when you just keep taking those steps, when you look back, you can see the journey that you've been on, and you can see how far you've actually come.
It's true.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. Any final words, Amanda?
I just wanted to mention that it's really important to have like a maybe a daily practice of journaling. The more that you kind of connect and go through each, like the process of your day, even if you've had like a terrible day, like taking some 5 to 10 minutes at the end of the day to really go through all that information and find the silver lining in it, find what you have to be grateful for in that moment, and start writing it down. Now, if you make this an everyday kind of a thing, you'll start to find that your guides will actually give you information as you're writing. And so you'll start channeling information as well from your own guides. So you'll get messages through those writings just by taking that time to process what you're going through and finding the beauty in it. So I highly recommend that as well.
And as an added extra bonus, it's a great place to flip back into to see how far you've come as well.
Yes.
True. Yeah, that's very true.
Beautiful. Thank you for joining us today, ladies. It has been an absolute pleasure and an honor.
Thank you both so much, all three of you. Thank you both so much for the opportunity. This has really been such a fun experience, and I've learned a lot.
And on behalf of the Ascension School, thank you for those of you out there watching this for joining us today. Please come see us at the Ascension School. We don't bite. We're a lot of fun to get to know. You can connect with myself and Amanda at the Ascension School. The links will be down below all the videos here, and there are a whole herd of other amazing mentors as well. So even if you don't resonate with Amanda and myself, there will be someone that's exactly right for you. And until next time, go out and live soul first.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much.
Blessings.